Hello YouTube. This will be a review of a MEFE guitar wireless system, rechargeable. I bought it on Amazon. That's how it looks. I'm gonna post the link below. My apologies for the low quality of this video. I'll try to concentrate mainly on the technical aspects of the quality, the noise level, distortion, the drop of signal, compared, obviously, which is the question, compared to the regular cable. And I'll be using a nothing special monoprice cable, the shortest I could find. And going forward, despite several moments which will sound like a critique, I'm gonna say that I really like the device. I use it daily. I have no regrets buying it, and I definitely endorse it. So the idea here is that you have two units which are rechargeable. They claim to withstand more than 4 hours of play, and they require like 2 hours of charging time, which is true. So they come in this nice box with this nice foam packaging. They do come with a dual charging cable, so you can charge both units simultaneously. They come with some paperwork. They claim to have a super short latency of less than 2 milliseconds, and it feels like it's true. So now I'm gonna show how they look on the guitar, and then I'll go to the technical part of this review. Here is my lovely Squire Super Custom. I believe only the body and the cover are left from the original one, but still I think it's the same guitar, but I love it absolutely. So now coming back to the wireless. So the idea is that you put the transmitter here, and that's the position it's gonna be. And I believe that's the only way you can fit it on Stratocaster. Okay, you cannot really rotate it much. It is what it is. Okay, well, you can. Yeah, I think that's the only way. That's the only way. Okay, so now the idea is that you plug it in and you turn it on. Okay, so the receiver, which will be plugged in your amp or mixing board or whatever. Okay, now it's trying to find itself. So when they're not flashing and give this solid green color, which I do not like at all, I think the just simple white color would be more than enough here. Okay, it means these guys are in sync, and there are 4 pairs of these that you can use simultaneously. That's what they claim. Okay, now I'm gonna use a bass guitar. It's gonna be a simple Yamaha guitar to show you how they look on a different type of guitar. Nothing special Yamaha bass guitar, but what's important for our review is that it does represent a different type of connectors. So you can have this system being like this or like this. You can rotate. It will be easily sort of swinging around. Okay, and that's all your options. Okay, and again, you can have this proud green light if you want, and that's what it is. Okay. So obviously, if you have the plug right in here, you have all the possibilities in the world. But most likely, if you have to connect the system like that, so the flashing connector will be hidden then, because it will be showing you this way. Okay, so by the way, they do have these 4 dots for LEDs that show how charged the unit is. Okay, so this one happens to be fully charged. Now let's go to the second part, to the technical analysis of the signal. So what's going on here? So I have this cell phone noise generator. Then in this case it's a pink noise. Okay, so then it goes into a splitter cable, and now we're feeding the same signal into the sound card. Okay, so the left channel is regular cable, the right channel goes to the wireless system. Okay, so then what happens is both signals are coming obviously into the sound card, and then they go to the left channel and to the right channel, in this case channel 1 and 2. Okay, so on the left side I'm using Volkswagen span as a meter. On the left side we can see the cable, so that's how the pink noise shows here. And on the right side we can see the signal that we receive from the wireless system. Okay, so we know that the signal is absolutely the same because it's coming from the same source, so there's no switching or anything. So what we can see here, okay, and as we speak up, I want to concentrate on this peak levels metering. For the cable signal it shows minus 14.7. For the wireless system it shows minus 17.9, but we will average the signal. So essentially what's going on, if we take a look, generally we can see that the signal curve is almost the same. Okay, so what we see here is that there is a slight drop of the lower frequencies as compared to the cable. So what wireless system does, it does cut off the frequencies, I would say probably below 100 hertz, which in my case is a good thing. Now, if we look at the loudness of the signal, so in my feeling, on the average, I would say, well, even if you look at this dB meters, okay, so we can see that the cable signal goes above 18, whereas the wireless system signal goes below 18. But generally, it's safe to say that 3 dB would be a difference in the signal. So essentially, if you have your presets and you want to take care of this gain staging, right, you want to take into account these 3 dBs of lower signal for the wireless system, and that's it. Okay, so next I'm going to use a slightly different approach. I'm going to put a sine wave of 1 hertz generated to the system, and we'll see if the wireless system introduces any distortions or anything fishy is going on. Second part of the analysis is the sine wave. It's a 1 kilohertz sine wave. Again, nothing else is changed in the setup. The same signal goes both to cable and the wireless system, and then it goes to the left channel being the cable, the right channel being the wireless system. So yeah, you already probably noticed that there is a bit of distortion going on. So, but let's take a look at the signal loudness. And in this case, we're going to have quite clear readings. So let me try to not shake it too much. So we see it's minus 18 loudness for the cable, and it is essentially minus 22, I guess. Yeah, minus 21 and something-ish for the wireless. So we are talking about overall, generally speaking, 3 dB of difference, maybe up to 4 dB. I don't think 1 dB will really change your sound dramatically. Now, as for distortions, there is one which is, I guess it's odd. Forgive my math. But there is a bit of distortion going on. But again, the difference in the signal tells me that it's negligible, obviously, because this is a digital system. Okay, so there will be something going on there, but I'm absolutely sure it will have no audible effect on the quality whatsoever. Well, and all other conversations that it doesn't sound warm, blah blah blah, it's just conversation, because the longer your cable is, the warmer, as they would say, the sound will be, because essentially the high frequencies will just be disappearing, and with them a lot of harmonics as well. Okay, so in terms of latency, here is my story. So I'm not using real amp, but I do everything totally in the box. I'm using Bias FX software primarily, and depending on the situation, I go for 9 to 10, maybe 12 milliseconds of latency. And because usually we play in quite small, cozy rooms, and I can definitely say that even with my latency already being in the path, because the USB interface and the computer, the laptop, whatever, even the iPod, they do require some latency. When I add the wireless system to the game, as much as I tried, I couldn't hear any difference. And even if there is some, but 2 milliseconds is nothing. 2 milliseconds is essentially if you moved your speaker 2 feet away. That's it. Okay. Okay, so, and that would be probably end of my analysis. So now I'm going to tell you a couple of tricks how to deal with the 4 hours of work time for the charging of these units, because they are using obviously lithium-ion batteries, and you can recharge them. But again, you don't want to do that all the time, because 4 hours is nothing, right? 4 hours could be less than one rehearsal. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of tricks which I came up with in terms of how to increase the length of the playback time with this system. And second, I'm going to show you another trick which is quite funny, because I will be using this wireless system not with the guitar but with the microphone. Now I'm back to my lovely Strut, and I connected the system, and what you see here is obviously, which is not a big guess, what's important here is that some of the system, when they are being charged, they just don't work, or they introduce some funky noisy stuff. Okay, so this one works fine as it's being charged. So if I put this one here, you can see that this one is charging as well. So how does it happen on the guitar? So you can see there is a small cable here, okay, and on the back of the guitar, what I have is this Frankenstein thing, which is a small power bank, whatever you call it. I'm pretty sure today there are smaller and more banks with higher capacity. You can have long ones, you can have like a lipstick size, you can have anything, you can maybe even put something here, okay? So the only problem is that you want to get this little tiny USB cable, but again, I don't think it's a big challenge today, so that's my trick. Finally, another interesting thing. So what's going on here is that the microphone, yes, it is using a cable because I don't have the proper adapter, okay? So then it goes into this mono TRS to TRS adapter. Okay, it's both female on both sides. And then it goes to the transmitter, okay? Now, you can get something similar to this, but not the female version, but male version. And that can be plugged into the microphone. Then you can plug it into this thing, and that's the wireless microphone that you will get. And you can use your beloved Shure or whichever mic you're using forever, okay? But now you will be removing all those cables, but introducing a bit of the problem with the charging and stuff, right? So now if we try to actually use it, hello, check. So it's working as a regular thing. I tested, the sound is the same, everything's the same. So now you can get a wireless thing for like whatever, 70 bucks Canadian on Amazon, and that will do the job. Okay. Now to the final thoughts. So of course it's not the super duper heavy duty product. There is a bit of a flimsy feeling about it. The plug is not like the best in the world, but I think it really does the job for the money. I was very pleased about the quality of the actual signal. As for the transmission power, I mean how far you can have the units away from each other, I'm pretty sure that it does require that there is no obstacles on the way of the receiver and transmitter. I think that's very important, because I did try and test it going to different rooms. It worked fine, but and I can say my environment here is very signal noisy and unfriendly towards any clarity of signal, but still I think it's fine. And I think it really depends on where you will be using it. So I think it's up to you to figure out. I think it really depends on a lot of circumstances. Okay, the customer service with the seller was absolutely amazing. We had some little hiccups. They turned to me immediately. We resolved everything. I think you can rest assured that your purchase will be protected on the Amazon. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll make more reviews.